Have you ever been punished for something you didn't do? On the morning of December 29, 1991, the body of the 36 years old victim was found nude in the men's restroom of a Phoenix, Arizona bar where she worked. She had been fatally stabbed, and the perpetrator left behind little physical evidence. Blood at the crime scene matched the victim's type, and saliva on her body came from someone with the most common blood type. A regular person, Ray Krohn, was found to be guilty by the police, according to styrofoam impressions of his teeth for comparisons of the victim's ones. At his first trial, he kept claiming his innocence, but he was sentenced to death and a consecutive 21 years term of imprisonment, respectively. After spending almost 10 years in prison, DNA tests proved his innocence, and finally on April 8, 2002, Krohn was released from prison, and on April 24th, the district attorney office failed to formally dismiss all charges against him. Our research both sides of this controversy, and the need of abolition of death penalty is the strongest argument. Today I will discuss some of the main issues concerning the death penalty and why it should be abolished. Starting my speech, I will talk about the expenses of the death penalty, secondly about the wrong verdicts and that the court may come up, and finally the ineffectiveness of death penalty. To begin with, death penalty is a huge expense for every state. The death penalty is much more expensive than life without parole because the Constitution requires a long and complex judicial process for capital cases. This process is needed in order to ensure the innocent men and women are not executed for crimes they did not commit, and even with these protections, the risk of executing an innocent person cannot be completely eliminated. The cost of the death penalty in California has totaled over $4 billion since 1978, about 308 millions for each of the 13 executions carried out. California spends an additional 184 millions of the death penalty per year because of the additional cost of capital trials and enhanced security on death row and legal representation. Florida will save $51 million each year by punishing all first-degree murderers with life in prison without parole. According to estimates by the Palm Beach Post, January 4th, 2000, Florida spends average of 3.2 million per execution from 1973 to 1998. Based on the 44 executions Florida has carried out since 1976, that amounts to an approximate cost of $24 million of each execution. Nevertheless, other really scary scenario about the death penalties are the wrong decision sentences the court might come up in case of false evidence or not enough witnesses. Many innocent people have faced the death penalty and lost their life, while some others eventually proved their innocence. The authors of the study, more innocent people on death row than estimated, claim that their conservative estimate of the proportion of erroneous convictions is 4.1%, or approximately twice the number of actually exonerated and set free from death row. This could mean that approximately 120 of the roughly 3,000 inmates of death row in America might be not guilty, while additional scores of wrongfully convicted inmates are serving life in prison after their death sentences were reduced over technical legal errors. False convictions are extremely difficult to detect after the fact. Law professors Samuel R. Gross of the University of Michigan and Barbara O'Brien of Michigan State write in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, a prestigious peer-reviewed journal. As a result, the great majority of innocent defendants remain undetected. The rate of such errors is often described as a dark figure. What is more, as it comes out, death penalty is not effective in reducing crimes. It is well known that states with excessive which exercise the death penalty have the highest number of crimes than states which do not exert death penalty. Scientific studies have consistently failed to demonstrate that executions deter people from committing crimes any more than longer prison sentences. Moreover, states without the death penalty have much lower murder rates. The South accounts for 80% of US executions and has the highest regional number. In conclusion, as it comes out, death penalty does not really offer anything to people. It is a way for some people to take revenge, but that is not the case. No one has the right to take someone else's life away. Today, I talked about the huge expenses behind the death penalty, the wrong verdicts, and the ineffectiveness of this phenomenon as well. Since when do we have the right to treat humans as they are not to be?